Us here on TVC Breakfast. Now, Ogun State has always been known for growing a wide array of agric products, but with the leadership of Dapo Abiodun as the governor, it is also now known for network of good road infrastructure. With a commitment to a sustainable environment, the governor has begun developing various road links that would ensure residents have good access to good roads across the state. One of which is the 19-kilometer Aton Lusada Agbara Road in the Ado-Odota local government area. Let's talk this through by speaking with the Senior Special Assistant on Public Communications to Ogun State Governor, Dapo Abiodun. Good to see you and happy democracy season.
Good morning.
It's still the season.
It's still the season of democracy.
Happy democracy.
We're going to celebrate democracy, all through the week or throughout the year. But let's narrow it down to Ogun State, the subnational, which is also playing its own part in delivering dividends of democracy, so to speak. You help us to expatiate on that if that's what we see. So if you look at the issues of road, because I remember, was it last year when the governor, Dapo Abiodun, said that we want to make Ogun a huge or a giant construction site, if I'm correct with that statement. But I know that over 5,000 kilometers of road network are in Ogun State, and more than 2,000 belong to Ogun State as federal roads. So how does the government plan to prioritize road repairs, maintenance across the state, given the limited resources and vast number of roads in need for rehabilitation or attention?
Yeah, thank you very much. You rightly said it. That's the fact that Ogun has got quite a number of roads. And many of them, even before the coming of the administration, they're in need of attention. And that's why our governor, Prince Dapo Abiodun, has prioritized roads as major projects for his administration. And that's something he's been doing since he came in. And as we speak, not less than about 600 kilometers of road are fixed already, newly. And almost the same number of roads or more in kilometers are receiving attention. And if you look at it in the recent weeks, we've been commissioning roads. We were in Ogijo axis of the state to commission what is called the hospital road, a long road that was in serious desolate state, leading to residents abandoning that area totally for years, long before the coming of the governor. But he prioritized that road because of its importance in that axis. The Ilaro-Wode Road too, recently commissioned. Talking about the Shagamu-Ikperu Road, Shagamu-Ikperu-Shapade Road, the first and second phases commissioned, while the third phase, which is from where the second phase ended in Ikperu towards Oderemo, to Shapade, to link the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway. If you apply that road, you will know the importance of that. It's a road that users can make good use of. I mean, road users can make good use of should anything happen on the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway. You pass through Shagamu into Ikperu, Ode, and you bust out in Shapade, and you're on your way to Ibadan, and any other parts of the country. So these are very important roads. And then if you look at the way the governor has been working, he made good his promise to turn the state to a giant construction site. Because aside the almost 600 roads already commissioned, not less than, roads like Aton Lusada, I just mentioned it, as we speak now, our workers are laying asphalt on the road, on a section of the road. And you know what that road will do to the economy of the state. That axis is one hub of economic activities. And then you look beyond that, they're laughing around that road within Abeokuta Metropole now. Yeah. Work was ongoing on it before. Now, if you go there as I speak with you, that road is being taken care of because it's also another road that connects all parts of the state and leads travelers out of the state too. So you have such roads ongoing. There is the Ilishun Agowoye road. You see, when the governor said it's going to be like a construction site. He actually meant what he was saying. Because now, as I speak with you, so many road projects are ongoing at the same time. While we're already commissioning some. Many of these, like Elisha Agonwoye Road, 98% completed. It's just a matter of time, and that road would also be commissioned. You have other roads like the Shagamu Ikene Road. You have another road, the Mowo Fada Road. You understand what has been the outcry on that road and the need, in fact. When people ask for certain roads, we also agree with them that, no, this road is due, if not overdue, for attention. Then you have the Orileoko Road in Remo North. You have Ado-Odo Ikongba Road, Akute Denro Isashi, Songo Agbado Lambe, and like I just mentioned, Remo Shakpade. These are road projects that are going on simultaneously.
All right. I'm still going to take you up on the Akute Lambe.
Yeah, I know you will take me up on that.
Anyways, let's talk about funding. Ogun State, looking at the proximity to Lagos State, it's quite surprising that it's ranked by budget as one of the highest states with the highest IGR, internally generated revenues. Yeah. I'm asking because I want to know how the government intends to fund a future project and how well have they done in bringing investors into the state. Thank
you very much. Your questions are reasons why we cannot leave our roads in bad state. When the governor came, when Governor Dapo Abiodun came, Ogun State was nowhere near high-ranking IGR states in Nigeria. Nowhere near. But today, we rank second or third, just behind Lagos and one other state. That is a testament of how hard he worked to improve the income of the state. The intention of improving the income of the state is to have enough money to fund projects like this. And it's yielding results. And how is it being able to improve the income? It's by luring investors, bringing investors into the state. Ogun State is today the destination of major investors coming into the country for obvious reasons. You have a state where there is serious ease of owning land and ease of doing business. You have a state where the government is particular about security. You understand that state is a gateway state. Can't get to any part of this country from Lagos without passing a part of Lagos as at today. A part of Ogun as at today. The same thing goes for criminal activities. Criminals in Lagos trying to escape want to pass through Ogun. Criminals from other parts of the state, of the country, going to Lagos to pass through Ogun. So we understand our responsibility when it comes to security. And for you, as media practitioner, you'll agree with me that Ogun State today is one place where you can hardly get away with crime. You commit crime today in a matter of days, at most. You will be named. And since criminals know their operations within Ogun is reduced drastically, criminals will always be criminals, no matter what you do. Their activities, they will still work. But the bottom line for a government is when you ensure that people who perpetrate crime are punished, it will reduce the propensity of crime. And that is something we have done very well. And it's been made possible by our governors' very, very serious support for security operatives in the state. Just recently, the Inspector General of Police was in Ogun State to declare open 25 patrol vehicles that the state procured for security operatives across the state. And then we have a security system within the government that cooperates very well with security aides. The governor himself holds regular interfaces with. So security is one reason why investors prefer Ogun State. Investors need land when doing business. It's key, it's major, location. And when you come to Ogun State and you want to procure, you want to own land, the system has been made so easy. Digitalized systems that run almost on autopilot. You have no problem owning land, and this is something investors find very, very important. So, having been able to convince investors local and international, that the state will give them the right atmosphere to do their business. Governor Dapo Abiodun has tremendously increased the internally generated revenue of the state. And that has resulted in the ability of this government to take on more projects. Recently, he was speaking after his victory at the Supreme Court. He announced himself that now we are making more money in Ogun State. The good people of Ogun State should expect more projects. And that's it is the result of that you're saying.
Before now, there used to be the issue of this is the federal government's road. We need federal government approval to do this. Yeah. Because if you do it with our money, we'll have to seek for refund and all of that. So, and then what has been the collaboration been like with the federal government, to review contracts for federal roads in Ogun State? And how do you think this will impact on the state's infrastructure? That's on the one side. The roads that you mentioned, what quality of materials are being used? Because it's not enough for you to do roads. We've seen governors who do road. Before they leave the administration, everything is just, in
the construction sector today in the country, not just in Ogun State, there is what you call the Dapo Abiodun standard now. If you want to understand what it is, take a stroll. Go and see the Ikperu road that is newly constructed. Go to Hospital Road. These are roads constructed with specifications. Our governor is a very specific man. He wants things done, and he wants them done well. And that's why he's never in a hurry for you to deliver. He keeps checking. The men in charge are already briefed on what we want. And these are roads that will stand the test of time. It is the Dapo Abiodun standard. It's different from just wanting to deliver. He is a man who wants to deliver well. And you can begin to see. We mentioned the Yaton Lusada road. I want you to send your crew to see the specifics of works being done there. The work is still ongoing now. So you can have an idea of how it's been done. Ogun State now builds roads that would not need revisitation, reconstruction in no time. Roads that will stand the test of time. So I can assure you, when you talk about quality, because the people who do the work are already informed about what we want, and the specifics are very clear. So the quality is top-notch.
And when we talk about...
and then, sorry, you asked about collaboration.
Yeah, collaboration with federal government. Yeah,
you see, a good example is the Lagos-Abeokuta Expressway. It's a federal road. But since 2019, when Prince Dapo Abiodun became governor, he has been seeking the approval of the federal government. Why? Because he believes very well that Ogun State indigenes too suffer as a result of the current state of the road. That is, aside the incessant, I'll use the word incessant palliative work being done by the state on that road. But it got to a state, the only solution is to, overhaul the entire road. So he's been asking for approval. Sometimes last year, we got what we can call the presidential directive that, yes, Ogun State, we can fix that road. And the state immediately mobilized contractors ready to go to site. Then, the issue of possible litigations, if we don't get certain documentations from the federal government, came in. And then we were told that we will need some sort of documentation from the Federal Executive Council. Contractors understand how these things work. There are fears that if you don't get all these things, the road in question may just be under contract, and you wouldn't know, and litigation will start. All monies and energies expended will be wasted. So that's the stage we are in. And I tell you, the governor is so eager that I know that in no time, work will start on that road. So those are the kind of collaborations you will see between Ogun and the federal government.
And when you talk about infrastructure, it's not just about the physical structures, the roads. Exactly. It also includes power, includes transportation, basic things that will help in easing business, doing business in that state. Let's talk about power. How well is Ogun faring as regards power? And is the state hoping to, alternate between the use of solar and other hybrid powered gas?
Yeah. Thank you very much. Power, we know, until recently, is something no state can talk about venturing into. But with the coming of the new federal government, I think openings, we're having openings, and states can now begin to think of what can we do too. And Ogun State is not left behind. I can assure you that with that opening, the state is already taking advantage. And there are certain moves in the direction of generating even for use locally and being distributed within the state. And then you talk about solar. It's an option for Ogun State, a serious one. I'll tell you, we've been having issues with street lights. The government, Mr. Governor is very concerned about ensuring that our streets are lit. His reason, security. But we've been at the mercy of vandals. You do it today, they are there tomorrow to vandalize it. You fix it again, and then now Ogun State is looking at, okay, why don't we beat them in their own game? Let's solarize. So we're already making testronic solarization in some parts of the state. And the result will ensure that we, introduce solarization and the use of solar power in other areas of the economic life of the state. And then talking about transportation, Ogun is the first to introduce the CNG buses in the country. That tells you how serious we are taking that sector.
After the federal government? After
the federal government announced. I wouldn't want to...
And are they working actively in this?
They are very close to you here. You can, from Berger,
I don't there's one at
you can get solar bus, CNG bus into Ogun State. And you can get it out. Then you go to many parts of the capital too. You find these buses. Workers are already using it to commute from the secretariat into town. And the question is always, why are we not having it other places? We test run. In some places, we actually don't need those buses. What we need are smaller cars. We've seen the situation whereby we put a bus somewhere, and for hours, the bus didn't move. People will get in and get down. Get in and get out. You know why? They cannot wait for that bus to fill up, why there are smaller cars. And given the shortness of the route, the route is not... So we discovered that, okay, smaller buses, smaller cars. That was even the thought of CNG bikes. We already have prototypes procured. So in no time, you will see the spread of the CNG vehicles across the state. And this is also to ease transportation. It's to ease transportation and to make investors and their workers comfortable. And we're seeing the result of that too.
Talk to us about the cost of boarding these vehicles.
The routes are different. Well subsidized. You can't compare it to the private vehicles plying the road. Well subsidized. Well subsidized.
Yeah, well subsidized. You wanted to think about the fare. I guess that's exactly what she's thinking about.
The
fare.
The exact fare.
It's not just a route. So I cannot begin to, but I tell you, all the routes have their subsidies.
Speaking about transportation, that's on the road. The one that has to do with the air, because there are different ways of getting into the state. So Governor Dapo Abiodun appointed 3 aviation consultants for takeoff of Gateway, International Airport. Can you provide, or can you elaborate on specific roles and responsibilities of each of these 3 consultants appointed for this project?
Thank you very much. Aviation business is technical, and the government took that into consideration in appointing these consultants, and they all know their various roles there. But they have to work together. So it's an airport that is operational, bearing, I think what we just need is just one certificate of scheduled flights, and then that it's very... So the aviation experts are coming to work together, not only run the airport, make sure it's best practices especially, and all that. Aviation is not something you bring in people who don't understand what they have to do there. And that's what the government has done. Consultants. Gradually, it's now their role to set up the entire structure of an airport. You know what it entails to run an airport. It's not just about flying an aeroplane. There are so many other things there. And that's why we have this consultant. It is now their own business to bring in more experts. Okay, this is the man we need here. These are the people we need there. So it's some sort of working together, putting the place to take off. And that's what. So I may not be able to begin to break down.
Yeah, but then how does it align with the state's economic development, strategy? And at the end of it all, the citizens will always look at what is in it for me. How does it benefit me?
The airport.
Yes, the airport.
Oh, my brother, the airport is one legacy project the good people of Ogun State will continue to talk about when they remember Governor Dapo Abiodun. When eventually he finishes his term and he's gone home to be with his family and to do other things. Because it's one project, it's one idea that has turned around the fortune of the state. Beyond financials. Ogun State is now a destination for a lot of people coming into Lagos from other parts of the country. They will prefer to land in Ikperu and use the Ijebu-Ode-Ekpe corridor to get into Lekki and other parts of the state, beating the usual traffic on that road. And for those going to Ibadan too, rather than coming into Ikeja, having to face the Lagos traffic, and they don't want to land in, but they rather land in Ikperu and eat the outer parts of Ibadan easily. So what will be the implication of it? Then that's not talking about cargo yet. Cargo, a lot of cargoes would want to avoid the traffic and the cost of transportation if they are to land in Lagos. They'll come into Ikperu. That's business for the entire citizenry. That's business. As I speak with you, you need to visit that area. Construction sites everywhere around that airport. Housing estates are springing up, offices, complexes, even the federal government agencies. They came around, Nigerian Navy, NDLEA, customs, immigrations. They're already making plans to have their own structures there. All these projects will be carried out by humans, residents and citizens of Ogun State. That's financial empowerment for them. Everybody, each time I go in that area, I always see at least 2-3 people I know who now work there. They say, this is where you are now. I say, we have a project here. So it is, talking about the advantage to the people, it's so immense. It's going to also show up the income of the state. Not just this government. Governments that will come will have more money. That's right. Also do more things.
And it's a good one that this administration was able to ensure that this takeoff
how many states?
The past two administrations were not actually able to, ensure this.
Beyond Ogun State, there are so many states that have tried to put up airports. Many years. But this is something our governor did within his 5 years of being in office.
All right.
And
so
ready.
Let's talk about the border communities that I wanted to take you up on. Alagbole, Akute, Olambe, Matogun, those areas. We had our correspondents go to those areas about last month, and we saw some communities. You saw the video, anyways. We saw some communities having to contribute to construct some of these roads themselves. Inner roads themselves, and even the major roads. I know that there is a construction going on in Akute area, but I think it was stopped at a point. So talk to us about the hopes of these people, because we are in the wet season, and the flood is not so easy for them there.
Yeah, thank you very much. The major road that you mentioned, thank you, you said work is on. As I speak, the work is ongoing. Okay. And I don't think, the season notwithstanding, I don't think there will be any major stop, because we have things that can still be done while the rain is on. Because it's always a problem having to stop a project totally because the rain is here and there. But I assure you, work is ongoing. The government is not about to abandon that road, because it is a road that is very important to the plans of this administration. Talking about inner roads, you see, development will come. It will come to every part of the world eventually. But it will not come at the same time. Because we're talking about resources. We're talking about energy. We're talking about time. So some of this, and I do say something. There are plans. Some of these, as we speak today, new settlements, new sites, as we call it, are springing up as we speak now. And in a matter of days or weeks at most, those people in that area will join those clamoring for infrastructure. These are things that were not that are not yet in the development plan of the state. Some of these areas, especially in Ogun State, we are, as a result of our proximity to Lagos, the government of Ogun State has been under immense pressure to provide infrastructure for settlements that springs up only on a daily basis. So but they are people of the state. They need this infrastructure. It is the business of government to provide them. But that's why I always appeal. As income, time, and resources allow the government to take on. Some of the roads I listed out for you some 2-3 years ago were not attended to. Today, they are receiving attention. That's the same way others will.
All right, Mr. Abdul, because of our time, let's quickly race on. And it's the rainy season. Yeah. We talked about road, fixing of road and all of that. The road also has its own, parts in playing. And those people, because during the rainy season, we have Ogun State typically results to like about 30% increase in road accidents and a 25% increase in road maintenance cost. But those who are moving from Lagos and other states to Ogun State, some of them are also moving to flood-prone areas, and they also feel this impact. The state government has already talked about the impact of the flooding and all of that. So what exactly is the government doing to mitigate the impact of this? Because last year was really not funny, and we don't know what is coming up this year.
Quickly, I'll use this opportunity to appeal to our people residing around flood-prone area to relocate. It's the first thing. Whatever will happen, let's save lives first. Since you know that flood will come, you are just relocate first. And then let's talk about what the state government is doing.
Well, this is not the first time the government is
saying
residents.
As long as there are no solutions to that yet, some of these areas are actually on the right of way of water. We should also tell ourselves some truths. That's what I meant about planning, development plan. If you follow the state government's development plan, in building or relocating or siting your properties, you will have been advised, no, that area, don't build it. But many people just buy from Omonile, and they go there, they build. And then the flood comes, it becomes the business of government. Yes, government will take on that responsibility, and the first thing in taking that responsibility is to tell you, we want to save your life, leave that place first. Ogun State government went as far after last year's flood to the Federal Ministry of Water Resources, Federal Ministry of Environment. Their ministers came. The governor was there in the water with them in a bid to find solution. And discussions are on. Ogun River Basin authorities were invited. Discussions are on. Some palliatives have been done. The rains are coming now. We don't know how effective that palliative is. So please relocate first. Efforts continue to ensure that that flood problem is solved. But it's also, if you must know, may require some structures having to give way. When people talk about it, it will be government is demolishing their houses. What's the purpose? The purpose is to ensure that less areas are affected. People are built on the right of way of water, and water will find its way.
But they'll tell you that those who built there, those plans and all of that were approved by the state government themselves.
Maybe as a journalist, let's go there and find out some of these. Many of them built without approval.
So why should that take place in the first place in a land that has government? That's the
question. No, government eye is not everywhere. I told you, some of these areas.
Government eye should
but
be
now government is there. Some of them, let me also tell you, while construction was going on, government will mark it. There will be outcries. Then there will be stop work orders several times. At night, they start building. They stop work during the day. They continue building at night. Others, it's not as if the entire structure is obstructing water. Just people extending their fences, extending their compound on the right waterways. And government will say, no, you can still stay. Remove this, they mark it, they break it down. At night, these things are reconstructed. Right. So all this contributes to that problem. However, it's a problem that will be solved. The Ogun State government, under Prince Dapo Abiodun, and the federal government, Ministry of Environment and Ministry of Water Resources are working together to find solutions to this problem.
All right, so very quickly, because of our time, let me talk to you about agriculture in the state. It's the planting season. Well, we've told the government has told some residents to relocate, but what happens to farmers? How is the government going to make use of this season to, ensure food security. You know that the governor also met with some Southwest governors recently, and they brought a template to ensure food security and also a mandate for the commissioners for agriculture in each state. So what's the plan?
So you have the plan there. And then before that, Ogun State, I'll tell you, is one of the readiest when it comes to the coming planting, this planting season. Because our Minister of Agriculture has done so much to prepare the people, especially farmers, for this season. They've been supported with inputs. They've been supported with loans and grants, because the government is very particular about food security. We must ensure that we don't get into famine. And the governor has empowered the ministry to support farmers so much. Our farm settlements across the state are alive now. And the idea is we now do what we call farm clusters, where you are doing rice, I'm doing rice, you are doing rice, and we are in different parts of the state, and we need the same help from government, the same machineries, the same inputs. Instead of staying apart, you come together. Go to our farm settlement in Ibiade, all right farmers stay there. Go to our farm settlement in Igua. Yeah. Corn farmers stay in one place. Yam farmers stay in one place. The idea is to have you all have access to what you need easily, so that we don't have to move tractors and whatever from Songo all the way down to Ijebu-Ode, when we could have all of you in one place. And with that preparation, fish farmers, other husbands doing animal husbandry have also received a lot of attention, a lot of support in preparation for the coming season. And I believe that as agriculture is not something you see the result 2-3 days after, at the end of this season, you will see what we've been doing.
Yeah, so we have in just less than a minute. How do you think the state government can now balance the need for flood control measures with the need for tourism development in areas like Onyo Dam? And what potential revenue streams do you think can be
that's part of
from that?
The ongoing discussion now. While we know that tourism, if actually and properly introduced in that axis, can help even reduce flooding. The discussions are focused on ensuring that the dams, because the dams, the authorities will tell you we have to open them at one point or the other. Yeah. We can't help that. How do you do that without it affecting or wreaking so much havoc? That's discussions are on about that. I'm sure in no time we will see the result.
We can only wish you Godspeed, and then the Ogun State people can't wait, because their need, their taste is actually insatiable. Yeah. There is more that the government needs to do for them. Senior Special Assistant on Public Communications to Ogun State Governor Dapo Abiodun. Thank you so much for your time. It's always a pleasure talking to you. Thank you.
Very much.
Right.